It's just been like that always, you know.
You could have chosen anything you wanted. Why?
As far as I started out with a bass because I've known Steven, our drummer, since we started. And he's the one who really turned me on to what guitar was, because I really didn't know. I mean, I've just been something I'd always been around, but I didn't know what the difference between lead guitar and rhythm guitar was. I was really like, you know, unexperienced and naive. And Steve had an electric guitar at his house, and he used to play Kiss records and bang on it and stuff. I was just instantly turned on. So we were going to start a band. So I was going to play bass, which I didn't even know what the difference between bass and guitar was, as far as that goes. And I went in, I figured, well, I'll take lessons. So I went in without a bass, no instrument. I said, well, I want to learn how to play bass. And so the guy says, well, do you want to play bass or do you want to play guitar? And I said, well, what's the difference? He goes, well, the guitar has 6 strings. I said, I'll take that one. It's got more strings on it. And that's where it started from. And then I realized what it was that I was doing, and I got really into it.
That's funny, man. I mean, that really is. See, now I went the other way. Bass, 4 strings? I can't have 4 strings.
Yeah.
Nothing too complicated, man. Don't mess with me.
Yeah, I still play bass from time to time. I'm playing a little bit of bass on the record in a couple places.
Growing up here, I did too.
Right.
Is there an LA sound?
Yeah, but we're not it. I mean, there is a general LA sound that Van Halen and Motley Crue sort of prompted, you know, and it hasn't really got expanded that much since then. It's always been, you know, the guitar with the whammy bar and the LA drum sound and the guy who can't sing. And it's been like that way for a long time. We were one of the few bands that came out of LA that I felt actually did have some roots to it and you know, had some real rock and roll values and stuff.
When you started playing, I mean, the next thing to do is to get a gig.
Right.
Is the LA club scene fertile enough for an LA player? I mean, is there places to play?
There's places to play. I mean, there's a lot of clubs. I mean, first you got to start a band. I mean, that's the hardest part. I mean, because if it weren't for Axl, I could still be searching for a singer, because singers are like very few and far between. You can't fake being a singer. You can fake being a good guitar player. You know, they do it all the time. But as far as singers go, you have to be really good. And a good singer can, you know, singers can make or break bands. So first you got to get over that, you know, that hump, and hopefully, you know, you stick to your guns and get somebody good rather than settle for somebody bad. And then once you've got a band, then there's about a handful of clubs that you can get into on a weekday opening, and that's how we started, you know, and we just like sort of kicked everybody's ass.
What was the first paying gig you ever did?
First paying gig? As Guns N' Roses?
No, I mean,
for me,
I
played a couple bars. I used to play a lot of bars with some older cats that played blues, and I just used to jam with them. And it was like free beer and cigarettes and stuff, you know.
What else is there?
Yeah, and I used to join bands constantly, you know what I mean? Like, just join bands that I knew were going to do a gig for the exposure, and so I get paid for that, you know, that kind of thing.
Give me a little bit of a bandology here, because I know Guns N' Roses wasn't the first thing out of the turnip truck for you. What were some of the names of the groups you played with before this?
I almost played with Poison once. Everybody knows that story, though. I played with a band called Black Sheep once. I had a band called Road Crew, a couple of versions of a band called Road Crew. Me and Axl had a band called Hollywood Rose, which hence the name Guns N' Roses and LA Guns. At the time, got together and made Guns N' Roses. And let's see, where else was there? I had a band that had a really strange name called Titus Sloan, which is like TIDUSSLOAN. I just thought it looked neat. And as far as that, there was a lot of them I can't really remember. Who else did I play with? I don't know, really. Those are like actual working bands. I haven't been in that many bands.
Out of all that stuff, did anybody do anything? I mean, except for you guys now. I mean, did anybody come out of that?
No.
To get a real...
Except for Tracy Guns from LA Guns. You know, that's another story.
How did the 5 of you guys look at it?
It was inevitable. We were the only 5 guys in LA with this attitude that we have, which is like very, very punk rock sort of anarchistic 70s kind of thing. And we did whatever we wanted. We drank, we did drugs, we did whatever. And we all of a sudden there we were, 5 of us, all like that. And so we had different combinations, like me and Axel, me, Duff, and Steven, me, Izzy, and Axel. And none of them worked until the 5 of us got together, and it was just been. And then it was just like we were sort of a sore thumb on the scene, very sort of violent, and like when we were around, it was like everybody was like, and people are still scared of us, you know, and we're still the same, you know, we're not. The thing is all of a sudden we sold lots of records, so.
You don't think you mellowed at all?
I haven't mellowed at all. I'm actually, it's sort of like, that's sort of my trademark, is having not mellowed out so far. But it's, you know, obviously doing irreparable harm. Just haven't noticed it yet. You know, I'm thinking what a hard day I had yesterday because I can't get off the floor over there, right? But, you know, it's life, you know, this is what rock and roll to me is all about. You know, I wouldn't give it up for anything. If it cuts my life like a little bit shorter and all that stuff, so because I had a good time while I was here, you know. I had a lot better time than a lot of kids I know who'll be here for the next 60 years, you know, or whatever.
Hey, nobody ever got famous playing in the sandbox except Brian Wilson, you know?
And there's extremists right there.
For real.
Yeah. For us, it's like we have a reputation. We're notorious having the worst reputation on the scene, right, in this industry right now. Except for that we can sell records, sell a lot of tickets, and kids love us, and whatever is making us happen. But we have a real notorious, you know, canceling gigs, you know, beating up security people or having them, you know, just whatever, and drugs. And the drug thing is like, we're not stupid, you know. I never let anything get in the way of my career as far as playing goes. So when I did have my serious bout with drugs, I quit before it really screwed me up. And I'm lucky it did it at a time when we were like sort of dormant, you know, after having the record deal, going through producers. There was a lot of time I just sat around and indulged in, you know, whatever.
You were lucky you could.
Yeah, but so
you know, you were lucky you could give it up.
Yeah, it was hard. You know, it was hard, but yeah.
What was the common ground here between the 5 guys?
Common ground musically?
Yeah.
Well, it's all of us basically like the same thing. You know, I mean, we tend to lean towards we all love the Stones, but Izzy's more Stones-ish than anybody. We all love the Pistols, but Duff is more Pistols than anybody. We all dig Aerosmith, right? And Aerosmith is the kind of thing we all sort of lean to. Like Aerosmith and AC/DC, we all sort of dig that. Zeppelin, like I tend to lean towards Jimmy Page more than anybody else. And Axel's very varied, but he likes Nazareth a lot. He likes McCafferty a lot, you know, the singer. And then everything else is common ground, you know.
I was going to say, compared to what, man? I can hear your guitar 100 miles away. I mean, I know you 100 miles away when I listen.
Oh, that's a nice compliment. I can't tell Joe Satriani, I think his name is, and all these guys and Steve Vai apart. I don't, you know, it's all the same thing. It's like this, you know what I mean?
I can hear the difference even between those guys because I'm picking up on, you know, one guy's playing a Gibson, one guy's playing, you know, a Strat, one guy's playing, and I mean, they have their own identifiable settings. Well, but it's a technique that I can pick out on you 100 miles away.
Oh, that's cool.
The music for this group is the groups.
Yeah.
The lyrics are usually Axel. Because Axel isn't comfortable singing anybody else's.
Right. He's the kind of guy that, well, basically, like, I'm just a guitar player. I don't exercise vocal, I don't know, lyrics stuff. I just don't even bother with it because I know that's Axel's department, and I know I can trust him to do the best possible job. There's no reason I have to worry about it, and I'm not inspired to sit down and write. That sort of threw me out.
Okay. What are you talking about, Axel? Just singing his own lyrics?
Yeah, he just sings his own lyrics. Every once in a while, Izzy will do something. Me and Izzy wrote lyrics to Brownstone together because it was a period there where that made sense, right? But usually it's Axel. And as far as the music goes, there's someone comes up with the basis, you know, like a riff, like in Welcome to the Jungle, I come up with a riff. It's that, you know, that drop down that's got. And then the reason we work so well as a band and why we really click on stage is everybody has input. It makes it exciting for everybody to play it, you know?
Wow. You know, you always see W, Axel. Why doesn't he?
I think it stands for William.
Why doesn't he use it?
Because it